Hello everyone and welcome to the 2021 Business Planning Clinic. Thanks for joining. Thanks for watching today. We're going to go into the weeds a little bit about your business. Did you know that your business is actually predictable? I'm in many conversations with agents who struggle with what I call the roller coaster ride, the up and the down, the ebb and the flow of the business. One of the ways that we can stop the roller coaster ride, we don't want the roller coaster to stop, we just want to be more up than down, is through accountability. The way to be accountable for your business is through tracking your business, and you're about to find out why I believe the business is way more predictable than you can imagine. So when we talk about goal setting, some of you like to set goals, others don't like to set goals. I should let you know in full disclosure, I am a big believer in goal setting, without a doubt. I believe in goal setting, and I'll tell you why. The main reason I believe in goal setting. It is because when I start to tell my brain certain things, my brain has the ability to listen and to adapt to what I'm starting to tell it. I want to show you by an example of that. I want to share an example with you. So every year, I've been tracking goals for a very long time. Every year I have a goal in mind. I'll show it to you. I've taken some pictures so you don't actually have to look at it quite like this. Well, this will actually work, so we don't have to do pictures. I apologize for the poor handwriting, but it is what it is. So this is just my goal tracking board, and I recommend, first off, figuring out how to get it into the video screen the way that you want it. I recommend doing something like this, something that you can have in front of you, something that you can keep around for a long time, something that's fun. If you take a look up at the top here, our goal was 100 transactions. That was our goal in 2016, 2017, and 2018. If you take a look at the bottom down here, you will see that we didn't hit these goals. 53, 57, 73. So you're like, okay, your goal's 100, you didn't hit it. You're a believer in goal setting. You're a believer in telling your brain certain things that matter. And why do you keep doing it if you're not going to hit your goals? Oh, but I am going to hit my goals. Trust me, we're going to hit our goals. In 2019, we hit those goals right here. 115 units in 2019. And the fun thing is 2020 is not charted yet, but it will be. And in 2020, we're going to 175 units. So the one thing I want to tell you guys about goal setting that's really important, understand that if you don't hit your goals, it's not the end of the world. You're on a journey. You make adjustments, and you keep going until you get to a spot where you land on that goal, till you achieve what you want that goal to look like. I believe that failure is only failure if you don't get back up again. Then when you start hitting those goals, and if you look back on our tracking board, while we may not have hit our goals year over year, we were making progress towards our goal. So I'm going to set a big goal for 2021. We'll probably set a goal of 300 units in 2021 that I really would like to achieve. Will we automatically hit that goal? Nope. Am I going to beat myself up if I don't hit that goal? Maybe a little bit. But I've learned to tell my brain that it's not... if it's not now, it's just coming. It's coming. It's going to happen. I'm on a journey. So if you can treat goals that way and start to think about them that way, I think it becomes easier when you look back at the end of the year and you don't hit your goal. But maybe every fourth year, maybe every 3 years, maybe every 2 years, or maybe you do hit your goal. When your brain starts to go, oh, you laid that plan out and that actually happened, that's when it gets really exciting. Does that make sense to you guys? I hope that it does. I want it to, because again, most people, when they set that goal, they don't achieve it. Most people do not achieve their goals. What are you going to do at the start of the new year? You're going to work out. You're going to eat healthy. How long does it last? I know, it doesn't. But if you can keep progressing and keep trying and keep getting back up, you'll eventually achieve that goal. And I believe that. So, a couple quick quotes for you. A goal without a plan is just a wish. If you don't know where you're going to end up someplace else. That's from Yogi Berra, former New York Yankees. The more time you spend contemplating what you should have done, you lose valuable time planning what you can and will do. That's rapper Lil Wayne. Should be the lyrics of one of his songs. I like this one by Warren Buffett quite a bit. Someone's sitting in the shade today because someone planted a tree a long time ago. Goal setting is a long-term game. You might be looking at it in the short term, like 3, 6, 9, 12 months, but it is a long-term game. If you're really mapping things out, you got to understand you're not playing just for the day. You're playing for 3 years, you're playing for 5 years, you're playing for 7 years, you're playing for 10 years. That's how important this stuff is. And I love that from Warren Buffett. There's a documentary out about Warren Buffett that I recently watched on Netflix, and it's quite fascinating. So let's get in. Let's jump into your business. And that's what this is about. This is about your business. At the end of the day, you will have a couple of things to take away with you from this. The first is you're going to know exactly how many units you need to close next year to achieve what we're going to call your net income goal. How many units you're going to have to close to achieve your net income goal. Now, that's exciting. It should be exciting. We're going to talk about your net income goal in a second. There's a few things I need you to understand about how I approach goal setting and the things that year over year over year have worked and the way that I can hold myself accountable. The first thing we want to talk about is lead versus lag tracking measures for your business. Lead versus lag. What the heck am I talking about? The leading measure that will determine the success of your goals, whether or not you achieve your goals, is going to be appointments. How many appointments you set each week with buyers and sellers to talk about helping them sell real estate, helping them purchase real estate. When I talk about appointments, I am talking about appointments, speaking with potential clients about buying or selling real estate. Let's think about that for a second. Can you have a closed transaction if you don't have that appointment? Nope. The answer is absolutely not. So the most important thing in our business is appointments with buyers and sellers. I could end the video right now and tell you that nothing else in this business matters more than appointments with buyers or sellers. Now that's your lead measure that's telling you how your business is doing, is those appointments. The lag measure becomes the closings. You set enough appointments, hopefully you'll have some closings, and that drips out in the funnel, right? Lead, appointments up at the top, down at the bottom we've got the lag measure of the closing, which is exciting. It's payday, right? That's a good thing. But the thing that's more important than the actual closing is how many appointments you're setting. And that is a mindset. If you can adapt that mindset, you can understand that the business is 100% predictable. And again, I hear it all the time. Oh, my business is up and down and I'm on a roller coaster and that's sales and that's the business. You can accept that as an answer, or you can choose to change your mindset around whether or not the business is predictable, because it is, and I've proven it over the years. So one of the ways that we hold ourselves accountable is through appointment tracking. Keep mine on a little spreadsheet, just a little appointment tracker right here. Doesn't matter what you use. You could use a whiteboard, you could use anything you want to at all. It will work. So track your appointments. The goal is you have to track your appointments weekly. What makes tracking appointments hard for agents is because they take the old ostrich approach. Do you know what that is? Yep, you know exactly what the ostrich approach is. It's where you stick your head in the sand and you absolutely ignore the reality of the situation. Remember, just a few seconds ago we talked about there's nothing more important than appointments with buyers or sellers. So if that's the number one metric, the leading metric of how successful your business is going to be, how can you stick your head in the sand and ignore that measure? Every week, every day, your goal is quite simple as a real estate agent. Set appointments with buyers and sellers, and that will produce the lag results of closings. So let's get started. Let's get into the fun thing. Let's get into the fun of this. It is fun, And again, it's about you, so we're going to give some numbers and some examples in our video portion here. Feel free to tweak them. I don't know what your goals are. Obviously, this is a recorded segment, so we're going to plug and play some numbers. You're going to plug and play some numbers, but I'm going to use some baselines so that you understand how we're going to compile the data to get you all the information you need to know. And by the way, within the next 9 to 10 minutes, I promise you, we will have the formula. You will have the formula for exactly what you need to do next year. Your business plan will be 90% complete. Is that exciting? I hope so. Let's do it. Okay, so one thing we want to talk about is gross commission earned. And I want to talk through with you for a second what I mean by gross commission earned. Let's use an example of $500,000 as a sales price. We're going to multiply that by your average commission percentage. In my example, I'm going to say $500,000 times my average commission percentage, which is 2.5%. We'll use that for this example. To actually physically do that math, it's 500,000 times 0.025. If you go 500,000 times 2.5, it's going to mess you up. Just do it this way. 500,000 times 0.025. You're going to get a number. That number is 12,500. In this example, what is your gross commission earned number? Exactly. You got it. 12,500 bucks. Now we're going to come to what I think is the most exciting part of our time together here today, and that is, what do you want your net income goal to look like this year, 2021? No, speaking it for 2021. What is that number? Do you want to make $1 million? 500,000, 200,000, 300,000, 100,000? I don't know. Hit pause right now. Have fun with it. Don't be too conservative. And think of what your number is going to be for next year. It's exciting. Welcome back. To think about that number, isn't it? What it can do for your life and how it can impact you. I get excited trying to come up with that number. And year over year, the number keeps raising. I keep raising it, which is fun because my brain believes I can do it. My brain believes I can do it because I track this stuff and I move in that direction. So you've got your number. You've got your net income goal. Now, I know what some of you guys are thinking. You have a question right now, and I already know what that question is. Well, what about expenses? So I want you to take your net income goal, and I want you to add your expenses on top of that. Just take that net income goal. For this exercise, we're going to say we have a net income goal of $500,000. I want to add your expenses on top of that. And let's say, for example, your expenses are $200,000 a year. We're going to take 500,000 plus 200,000, and that is going to get us a gross commission earned goal for 2021 of $700,000. That is your gross commission earned goal. You understand that part? Take it in for a second. Just make sure you've got that part. We can't really go any further unless you have that. You're going to take your income goal and you're going to add your expenses on top of that. 500,000 plus 200,000 gets us a gross commission earned goal of 700,000. Now, I understand that your gross commission net earned goal is 500,000. I just want you to work in expenses. I don't want you to not account for those. 700,000 minus 200,000, get your gross commission earned number. The goal you came up with, the thing that's exciting you, is that. So ours was 500. You've got the math, right? Simple math. All right. Now we're going to take 700,000 and divide by your average commission percentage. In this scenario, again, we're going to use 2.5% as the average commission. Yours might be 3. Yours might be 2. I don't know what yours is. You should know what yours is. If you're tracking your numbers, track your numbers. So we're going to take 700,000. We're going to divide by 0.025. in my scenario. 700,000 divide by 0.025, and that is going to tell me what my closed volume goal is going to look like for 2021. 28 million, if you're doing the math correctly, and I hope that you are. Plug in your number. Your number might be 0.03. I don't know. Could be 0.02. You tell me. But that's what you do. You take that number, 700,000 divided by 0.025. My average commission percentage, we'll just use 2.5%. 28 million in total sold volume. Now, here we go. We know what your total sold volume looks like already. We already know, let me recap real quick. We already know what your total sold volume goal is for next year. We already know how much money you want to take home at the end of the year. We already know that the business is predictable. We already know what the leading measure is to measure the success of your business. What is it? That's right, appointments. We already know what the lag measure is, the closings. We have a lot already packed in for your goals. And it's going pretty fast, but when you break this down, we're rolling through. So now we're going to tell you exactly how many total units you want to close next year to achieve what you want to take home at the end of the day. You're going to take that total sold volume and you're going to divide it by the average sales price of $500,000. Now, I want you to use your average sales price here, not mine. If your average sales price is $400,000, I want you to use that. Make sense? If it's $700,000, I want you to use that. You're going to take that total sold volume number that we just created and you're going to divide it by your average sales price. 500,000 is the number I used. 28 million divided by 500,000 is going to get me to 56 total units sold. How about that? There it is. That's how many units I have to sell next year if I wanted to achieve my goal. Now, here's the part that we need to go into the weeds just a little bit because we want our tracking to be as accurate as possible. The reality of the situation is this. To sell 56 units, remember, we're trying to figure out how many appointments we need to go on next year to achieve our goals. That's our main goal here. How many appointments do I need to go on so that my business is predictable? I would suggest that you don't win every buyer appointment or listing appointment that you go on. And I hope that you do, and I want that for you. I certainly don't. I win about 65 to 75% of the appointments I go on as a holistic number. I'm not dividing it on buyer side and listing side appointments. You might be much stronger on the buyer side, you might be much weaker on the listing side, or vice versa. A holistic number is what I'm looking for here. Like if you had to take a guess, because you may not know it, or maybe you do, but by the end of 2021, you will know it, what percentage of appointments that you go on do you actually win? Meaning what percentage of buyers and sellers that you sit down with to talk about buying and selling real estate agree to work with you? How many buyer agency agreements, how many listing agreements are you going to get signed? So I'm going to take that 56 units and I'm going to divide that by 0.65. I'm going to just say, for example, in this exercise, that 65% of the signed agreements, I get 65% of those agreements signed, rather. That's going to get me to 86 signed agreements. That's 86. 56 divided by 0.65, and that gets me 86 signed agreements to get me where I want to go. You guys understand what we're doing? We're reverse engineering this. We put your goal up at the top, and then we're just working our way down through it to understand exactly what we need to do for the year. So I need 86 signed agreements, or do I? Hold on, there's more. Now, if you have 86 people that say they're going to work with you, want to work with you, and agree to work with you in writing, do they all close? They do not. No, they don't. I wish they did. Life would be easy if everybody who signed a listing agreement and a buyer agency agreement closed. But the reality is things happen, life happens. Not every listing sells. Not every buyer buys, regardless if you've got that signed agreement or not. I'm going to assume that about 75% of those signed agreements equal closed transactions for me. that is a number that you are going to want to plug in on your own. Maybe 90% of your appointments close after you've got the listing or buyer agency agreement signed. You might say, Jason, I closed 90% of those people. Good for you. That's pretty awesome. I wish I did too. You get to change that number. For this exercise, I'm going to take 86. I'm going to divide it by 0.75, and that number equals 114. What does 114 represent? 114 represents predictability. That is how many appointments I need next year. Nothing is more important to my business than that number. I can't do this with the camera very well yet. That number right there. 114 appointments needed to achieve my net income goal next year. That's it. So for those that say the business is not predictable, it's only not predictable because you don't take the extra step to make it predictable. I know how many appointments I need for the entire year to hit that scenario. How many do you need? What did you come up with from that? Now, I also hope this is exciting for multiple reasons. One, the idea that you get your brain thinking of a number you want to take home next year. I hope that was exciting for you. The other thing is that amount of appointments, break that down. Like, how many appointments do you need per month and per week to achieve all that you want to out of this business in 2021? When you do that, what I think you will probably realize is your weekly number of appointments, it's not that big of a deal. For many of you watching right now, you might only need 1 or 2 appointments a week. So my question to you is, to achieve your goals, are you willing to commit to those appointments each and every week? Don't forget, if you're really going to do some calculations, if you're going to be real with yourself, give yourself however many weeks off. You might use a 48-week year. So, okay, I've got 48 weeks to set 114 appointments. How many appointments per week do I need to set? It's around, I'll tell you what it is. It's a little over 2 per week to hit that $500,000 net income goal in this scenario. 2 a week. That's it. You can do that. You absolutely can do that. You have to make that your priority. So when you go big with your thinking, start to trick your brain, not even trick, start to have your brain believe that you can achieve high levels of success, and then you break it down into the small weekly numbers, it really, really becomes achievable. And what I can promise you is that the top 10% of the people in the industry get that, they understand that, and they move in that direction. Thank you so much for watching this. You guys all have my cell phone number, but I'm going to throw it on the screen. We'll put my email up there too. And hit me up if any part of this was confusing. And just remember, think big, track your numbers, and nothing is more important in real estate to achieve your goals than the leading indicator of appointment setting. Have a great 2021, everybody.